In Kyoto, there is a garden that has no flowers, no trees, no pond, no color worth naming. There are exactly 15 stones arranged in white gravel, raked into patterns that suggest water without being water. It was built in the 15th century, and nobody is entirely sure what it means. Yet every year, millions of people sit at the edge of this gravel in silence, feeling something they cannot explain. Most philosophical traditions live in bilks. The Greeks argued in academies. Europeans built cathedral-sized logic systems. India developed forests of cosmic texts. Japan took a different path. They put their philosophy into objects, into the way you arrange a room, into the silence between sentences, the crack in a ceramic bowl, or the rhythm of handing someone a cup of tea. These ideas lived in behavior, in craft, and in space. This strategy of physical embodiment allows a way of seeing to cross borders that written text often struggles to bridge. Walking into a room built with these principles triggers a response that doesn't rely on a shared vocabulary. To understand why these ideas took a physical shape, we have to look at Japan's geography. This is a chain of mountainous islands where 70% of the land is too steep to farm. For most of human history, constant typhoons and earthquakes reminded the inhabitants that nothing in the physical world lasts. This ocean gap protected Japan from conquest, allowing them to import vast, complex systems of thought from the mainland. Once arrived, they went through a systematic refinement. The Japanese stripped away the dense doctrinal architecture, shedding non-essential layers to find the core of the idea. This geographical crucible took chaotic global inputs and forged them into a survival aesthetic defined by simplicity. At the root of this aesthetic are two instincts. The first is Shinto. It operates on the premise that the physical world is literally alive. The river, the mountain, the ancient forest, they carry a sacred presence called kami. Shinto translates this reverence into action. It demands that the way you treat an ordinary object, a doorstep, a tool, a bowl, matters. The act of deeply caring for something inanimate becomes a form of spiritual practice. The second instinct is Zen. Zen is suspicious of language. It treats immediate, direct experience as superior to intellectual theory. A teacher will make you sit in silence or carry water with complete attention until the boundary between you and the task dissolves. The combination of Shinto and Zen created a civilization that values silent presence and deep care as the highest forms of knowing. These foundations produced concepts that have no exact equivalent in Western thought. Wabi-sabi is the honest acceptance of impermanence. A tea bowl with repaired cracks is valued more than a flawless one because the wear reflects the truth of how things actually are. Mono no aware is the bittersweet gravity of fleeting beauty. Cherry blossoms are revered because they fall within a week. Their brevity makes them more valuable. There is ma, or active emptiness. It is the intentional negative space, the pause between notes, the empty wall in a room, that gives rhythm to the objects that surround it. And shokunen kishitsu, the craftsman's spirit. This is the belief that repetition and total attention can elevate an ordinary chore, like carpentry or serving tea, into an ethical act. These lived instincts remain embedded in the physical world to keep human beings grounded in reality. Japanese philosophy moved outward through visual and sensory objects, rather than through intellectual debate. In the early 20th century, Japanese woodblock prints shocked Western painters by demonstrating the power of leaving empty space on purpose. Artists like Van Gogh and Monet began to adopt this compositional instinct. Pacing slows slightly. Later, Japanese cinema taught global audiences that visual pauses carry immense weight. Filmmakers showed that silence in a scene can communicate more than pages of dialogue. This legacy continues through modern design. The lines of minimalist furniture or the exploratory patience required in a Nintendo video game are Zen instincts wrapped in interactive forms. Absorbing a concept through feeling and interaction leads to internalization. People rarely debate what they have already felt. The modern digital age is accelerating, loud, and over-explained. It screams for your notice. Against that noise, Japanese design whispers. The global embrace of this aesthetic is a collective craving. We are looking for a different relationship with our own attention. Which brings us back to the garden in Kyoto. This deliberate architectural tool uses the physical environment to demand presence.
It requires nothing from you except honest observation. Japan found a way to teach a distracted world how to sit in silence and finally